Oh no, Jalen Withers' free throw line fakeout cost UNC a chance to knock off the Dukies. That kicks off our top 10 UNC moments of the past academic year. Let's do it.
This is Tyler Zeller, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Monday, August 11th, 2025. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I want to thank you for making us your first listener watch to get your Tar Heels content every day. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Want to send a big old fat welcome to all the everydayers here with us, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord. Great to see you guys. And of course, our Locked On Tar Heels insiders. Let's get after it. This is something we have done. I think this is the third or fourth offseason in a row now that I have done this. It's one of my favorite things. It is a top 10 countdown of the most impactful moments from UNC athletics over the past academic year. So we're looking back at the 2024-25 academic year. It's a lot of fun. It helps us take stock of all of it and realize just all the great and crazy stuff that happens in Chapel Hill athletics. So today, Monday, we're going to hit numbers 10 through 7. Tomorrow, Tuesday, 6 to 4. And then Wednesday, we'll wrap it up with numbers 3 through 1, including a couple honorable mentions. What's crazy? I mean, you talk about Carolina and how great things are. We're talking about at least one national champion on every single episode. That's how crazy it is. To that point, Carolina finished the 2024-25 academic year 4th overall in the Learfield Standings for the best athletics program, behind only Texas, USC, and fellow ACC member Stanford. The women's athletics program won the Capital One Cup for the best women's athletic program, which came with a $250,000 scholarship award. Thank you very much. We'll take that. We're going to be talking about the women's basketball team later on the show. I bring that up to say, what up, Kate Harpring? Massive commitment at some of the recruiting services. Number 1 player in the nation in women's college basketball. We will take it. I'm so excited for this. Don't have time to unpack it in detail today, but man, I grew up on the south side of Atlanta. I was a massive fan of her dad, Matt Harpring, when he played at Georgia Tech. And so I love this. Courtney Banghart's team on the up and up. All right, here we go. The countdown begins. Number 10, the lane violation. And yeah, we got to start off on kind of a note. But when we talk impactful moments in Carolina athletics in the past year, this has to be part of it. And also because that game was so emblematic, that ACC semifinal loss to Duke was so emblematic of so many games last season where Carolina dug a massive hole, fought their way out of it, only to fall short when it was all said and done. I mean, Kansas, on and on and on, that started it, and then it just kept going from there. Michigan State, Florida, good grief. We could go till we're blue in the face with it. So it's Friday, March 14th. That's the date. It's the ACC semifinals. Duke beat North Carolina 74-71. A reminder about this game is that there was no Cooper Flagg. He had hurt himself in their first game, their first ACC tournament game against Georgia Tech. So here's how this game went. With just over 16 minutes to go, this is in the second half, Duke is up by 24 points. It's 52-28. And you're like, all right, Carolina's already lost to Duke twice this year and feels like that all over again. The game at Duke was 70-87. The loss on senior night at home was 69-82. And it was like, I mean, it's just this all over again. Remember that game at Duke? It was like they were down like this and fought back to make it a reputable 17-point loss. And it's just like that's what had happened. And so it felt like that's where things were going. But from that moment, when Carolina was down 28-52, they used a 43-20 run. That is insane. To cut it to just 1 point with 32 seconds to go on 2 Seth Trimble free throws. Seth was massive in this. I would encourage you to go back and watch the highlights of it, because even though the result. And if you want to just cut it off when Van Allen Lubin steps to the line, be my guest. But I mean, it was something to marvel at, as were so many of Carolina's comebacks that fell just short last season. But this was certainly one of them. So Seth hits those 2 free throws, 32 seconds left to cut it to 71-72. Carolina does a great job trapping in the backcourt, almost gets a 10-second violation. They can't quite do it, and they ultimately foul once Duke gets it into the front court. They foul Tyrese Proctor. It's still a 1-and-1 for Duke. Proctor steps to the line, and thank goodness misses it. So Carolina now, 20 seconds to go. They've got the ball, down 1, ACC semifinals. You know, there's all, think of the context. There's all the concern of we've got one quad 1 win right now, and we're going to get to that later in this top 10 countdown. Don't you worry. But if we could beat Duke tonight and then win the ACC championship tomorrow against Louisville, we don't have to worry about the bubble anymore because we're in, right? It's like what NC State had done the year before. So all of that pressure is swirling around in these final 20 seconds. So Carolina has the ball, down 1, shot clock is off. Van Allen Lubin had gotten a rebound off the Proctor miss, and Carolina gets into the front court, calls timeout. Keep in mind, the Tar Heels haven't led in this game since it was 9-8 early in the first half. They get out of the timeout. Elliot Cadeau takes it to the left wing. Clearly, Carolina's trying to run some action for RJ. He comes around, can't get him the ball. Ultimately, Elliott picks up his dribble, so he's got to kind of leave it off for Van Allen Lubin. Looks to get the pass back, but he can't. Van Allen Lubin makes a move and gets fouled. There's 4.1 seconds left at that time, which unfortunately we all know 4 seconds is too long for anything. But Van Allen Lubin is coming to the line. Carolina down 1. If he hits them both, Carolina, you know, it's not guaranteed they're going to win because, again, that 4 seconds is an eternity. But you're up 1 with 4 seconds to go, and that's better than being down or being tied. Heck, even if he hit just one of them, yes, that makes it feel very Villanova-y, but at least there's the potential of going to OT. So here's how it goes. Van Allen Lubin, of course, unfortunately, misses the first free throw. It's like, yeah, shucks. Well, let's get one, play for overtime, right? And then, yes, he hits that second free throw. It's tied. We'll see if Duke can make a shot or if we're going to OT. Oh, but hold the phone. Because Jalen Withers, who had just checked into the game between the free throws, for some reason decided he needed to try to fake out Duke, jab stepped to maybe get Duke to jump. I still don't know what was going through his head, quite frankly. But when he jab stepped, he stepped over the block and into the lane. I mean, clear as day. It wasn't even close when you go back and look at it. And so, shot doesn't count. Free throw violation. Duke going the other way with it. And there you go. It's just, man. So Carolina fouls Con Knipple. He makes both free throws. And now they still got a shot to tie it, right? They got a timeout. So Carolina throws it to half court. They get the timeout. And they just can't get a good look. They eventually get it into Van Allen Lubin, who has to attempt a fadeaway 3. I mean, it's like, no, that's not going to happen. So Carolina ultimately loses. And let's be honest, at that moment, it felt like the absolute dagger in Carolina's NCAA tournament hopes coffin. Like, that was it. It was done. It was over. The season is over. We're either going to the NIT or we're declining it again like 2 seasons ago. But we know how that turned out. And again, we'll get to that later in the countdown. Believe you me. But Carolina winning that game would have been so massive. And I know it's akin in some ways. Remember, in the 18-19 season, Carolina won the first 2 games against Duke. There was the Zion shoe blowout in the first one, and then he was still out the second one. So a bunch of people, both Duke fans and nationally, were like, oh, yeah, but Zion was out. And then he came back for the ACC tournament game, ACC semifinal, I think it was. And Kobe White missed a shot at the buzzer to win that game. And it was just like, and so it kind of felt like that all over again, but in reverse, where now Cooper Flagg was out. And it's like, dude, I don't care. Carolina beating Duke, the personnel is the personnel, and you got to go out and ball. And they just couldn't quite get there. Massive bummer, but it was what it was. All right, next, Field hockey, unlike the men's basketball team, had a phenomenal second season of the Aaron Matson era. The only reason they're this low on the list is because they couldn't quite finish the job. I'll unpack that in just a second. Right after I tell you about game time, and we've all been there. You're getting excited to get tickets. I recently got tickets to take my wife to go see Nate Bargatze for her birthday, and so you're like in a digital line waiting, and you're like, man, I want to get these tickets. And the moment comes, you click refresh, and you got kicked out of line somehow, and you're just, it's so stressful waiting in these digital lines. But guess what? Live music, it should be all about making memories, not stressing out about that crazy moment. And that's where Game Time comes in and helps you. Game Time makes getting concert and show tickets faster and easier than ever. Prices, they actually drop the closer it gets to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last minute deals. Are you worried about what's going to happen though if your plans change? Because I'm like, dude, I'm planning months ahead, Isaac. I don't know if, well, no worries. Game Time has a game time guarantee, and with that game time guarantee, they got your back with cancellation protection and more. Recently, I bought Dude Perfect tickets for my family because my kids love it. My wife and I honestly kind of love it too, and we do it as a family, and so it was so great and so smooth, and game time was awesome. I didn't know how it would work going into it, but man, I absolutely loved it. I'm going to be a repeat customer over and over and over again. So take the guesswork out of buying your concert and show tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. I told you we were going to be talking about at least one national champion on every episode of this top 10 countdown of the top 10 most impactful UNC moments of the 24-25 year. And unfortunately, field hockey is not one of those national champions. And oh boy, I tell you, it really felt like it was going to happen. And this was, I get so sad for these student athletes when these kind of things happen. Coming into last season, Carolina had won 5 of the last 6 national championships. The only one that they didn't was 2021, which is a weird fall coming out of COVID and everything with that. What's crazy is that Aaron Matson was part of every single one of those, 4 as a player and 1 as a head coach in 2023. And 2025 looked like it was well on its way to making it 6 out of the last 7 field hockey national championships. Unfortunately, as I've already set up, it wasn't. But let's set that aside for a moment and let me just run you back through how crazy dominant these ladies were in the fall of 2024. And don't worry, we are going to do this same thing again with women's lacrosse because, wow, they were a force to be reckoned with as well. Field hockey, regular season, 15-0 overall, 8-0 in the ACC. The regular season champs, they were number 1 in the nation. No team, check this out, no team scored more than twice against them in the regular season. And that only happened one time, and that was the regular season finale at Duke. So in the first 14 games of the regular season, no team scored more than 1 goal. In those 15 regular season games, Carolina had 9 shutouts. 9, are you hearing that? 9 of their 15 regular season matches were shutouts. The combined score of their 15 regular season games, you ready? 61-7. That is absolute insanity. Let's move on then to the ACC tournament where Carolina won that championship as well. Carolina beat Cal, Syracuse, and Boston College. Again, none of whom scored more than 1 goal. The combined score in those 3 ACC tournament games, 12-2, meaning the season-long combined score is now up to 73-9. What are we doing? Then comes the NCAA tournament. Now, the women's field hockey NCAA tournament is just 4 rounds, so 16 teams. Carolina had a shutout in the Sweet 16 over Delaware, 4-0, over Duke in the Elite 8, 3-0. So we're just piling on these shutouts. It's absolutely bonkers. And then, unfortunately, came the Final Four in St. Joe's. This felt inevitable at this point. Carolina's 20-0. They're just going to win 2 more and boom, undefeated national champions. And Aaron Matson is 2 for 2 in her coaching, first 2 years of coaching in national. I mean, it's insane. Anson Dorrance level stuff, right? But Final Four, Carolina loses to St. Joe's 2-1, and it just coming into that game, Carolina was 20-0 wins and loss record. They had a combined season score of 81-11. Even after that, I guess I should say, I had tabulated the whole season, and it was 81-11. The average score in every one of Carolina's games was 3.9 to half a goal. So Carolina basically averaged 4 to 1/2 was the score of their games on average. That is absolutely crazy. So all that to say, like, I hate it for Coach Mattson and the team. I know it's a bummer, and you were right there at the top of everything. Everyone's expecting you to do it. But ultimately, it's a dominant year that was cut just short. But that key phrase, though, is don't lose sight of what a dominant year it was. I think we get so caught up on national championship or bust that we can't celebrate all of that, right? 81-11 combined score, 20-0 run to start the season, countless shutout. I mean, it's crazy, crazy stuff. And by the way, if we're starting to look ahead a little bit, Final Four and the national championship are going to be back in Durham this year. And so, man, and think of everything Aaron Mattson has accomplished in the last 7 seasons, 5 as a player, 2 as a head coach. I mean, it's insane. It's crazy stuff. Also, the longevity of this program, Carolina has made at least the Final Four in 15 of the last 16 seasons dating back to 2009. They have more championships than any other field hockey program in the nation, 11 of them. Great stuff from the field hockey team. Now, we do need to get to our national champion on this show, and that is none other than Ethan Strand, who has had himself a year. This dude is absolutely on fire, and women's basketball keeps getting better and better and better in the Courtney Banghart era. We'll talk about both of those to wrap up this first show of the Top 10 Carolina Countdown of 24-25 in just a second. We move on to number 8 in our top 10 most impactful moments of the UNC 24-25 season coming up, and that is Ethan Strand. We move to track and field. Let's just talk about what a crazy kind of 15 months it's been for him, dating back to last June, where he, along with Parker Wolf, were part of the Olympic trials for Team USA. And last June, Ethan Strand made the 1,500 meter final. He finished last in that event, but he made the final for the U.S. trials. And, you know, all the guys ahead of him were, I mean, just the 3 that made the team, absolute dudes, right? Guys that all were in the top 5 in the Olympic final, including Cole Hawker winning the whole blessed thing, right? USA took 2 of the 3 medals in that event. Plus Hobbs Kessler got 5th. Keep those names all filed away for just a moment. Last November 23rd, Ethan Strand finishes 8th at the cross country national championships. I mean, that's not even like what we're talking about as his main stuff, but he does it. Last December 7th, he broke the NCAA 3,000 meter short track record, which was 7 minutes, 36 seconds. By more than 6 seconds, he lowered it to 7:30.15. That's crazy stuff. Then let's fast forward to 2025, February 1st, broke the NCAA mile record, which was previously 350.39, by running 348.32. So in a mile, right, where everyone's like just lowering this by just incrementally, he shatters the record by more than 2 seconds. It's the 7th fastest indoor mile ever run, ever in the history of the world, recorded anyway. Like, yes, the mile record itself is nuts, but 7th fastest ever is insane. He also, Ethan Strand, by the way, holds the 2nd fastest NCAA outdoor mile. So he's the record holder for the fastest indoor NCAA mile and the 2nd fastest outdoor in March. And this is where the national championship comes in, won the NCAA championship in the 3,000 indoor, running a time of 7:52:03. He was named, Ethan Strand was, the ACC Men's Indoor Track Performer of the Year. And oh, by the way, the ACC Men's Outdoor Track Performer of the Year. July 5th, let's forward ahead to the summer, won the International Mile at the Prefontaine, personal best outdoor mile of 3:48:86. July, signed with Nike. That's a massive deal. And then August 2nd, just recently, we talked about this last week on the show because it was just like, oh, Ethan, what? August 2nd, he was second in the 1,500 meter final at the USA Outdoor Championships in a time of 3:30.25, beating all three of those guys that were the Olympians in this event last year. That's pretty cool. And I know it's not the Olympics, right? But still, that's a cool, just coming around and continuing to train, continuing to get better and one up it. And so pretty cool out of that is now he's going to be in the World Championships in Tokyo coming up in September. So, and I clearly haven't even named all the accolades for Ethan Strand. Just wanted to file off some of them because it's been, again, that impact on Carolina athletics this past year has been just absolutely ridiculous. And poor Parker Wolf just, had an injury riddled season, was still able to do some. But I mean, those two guys have been Carolina men's track for the last several years and really, really impressive stuff. But this year was really Ethan's turn. Really proud of him. Can't wait to watch both of these guys continue. Remember, Parker almost made he finished third in the 5K at the Olympic trials, but didn't actually make the team because he didn't have the Olympic qualifying standard. Number 7 on our list is women's basketball. It's not a specific moment. It is the fact that this past season, they had the best NCAA tournament seed, best final AP ranking, and most wins of the Courtney Banghart era, which dates back to the 2019-20 season. Final record this year, 29-8, 13-5 in the ACC. Banghart era wins. Let's go through that. It's not grown every year, but the trend line is clearly going up. 16, 13, 25, 22, 20, 29. Wow. Clearly, nearly 30 wins for the first time. Seems very doable. Banghart era seeds in the NCAA tournament. No tournament, 2019-20, although they wouldn't have made it that year, similar to the men's team. But then in the year since, 10 seed, 5, 6, 8, and a low this past year of 3. Final AP ranking every year of the Courtney Banghart era. Not ranked, 17, 19, not ranked, 14. So again, just bests for the Banghart era for the 6 years of it. And it continues to show signs of growing and getting better. And I know for a lot of people, there was concern coming into this year of, this is the first year of the post-Deja Kelly era. How's it going to go? Is Alyssa Usby going to step up? Are other ladies going to step up? Is it going to be another injury-riddled year? And there were certainly more injuries again. The answer, in my mind, to this past year was that the ladies had a more balanced offensive approach and were more offensively balanced as a team. I think part of that is you didn't have a Deja Kelly to just kind of rely on, right? There were moments, remember Alyssa Usby missed a good chunk down the stretch of the season and just kind of was what it was there. But you had Usby, Maria Gokding, Lexi Donarski, Renaya Kelly, and India Navarre all average somewhere from 8 to 11 points a game, and a very balanced scoring load behind that as well. And ultimately, this team, to me, had more talent, more depth, more experience of any Courtney Banghart era team. And it's going to keep moving in that direction. And I think where things are really at their best now is in the front court, where there's just taller, there's more size, like what the men's team is doing right now. And it's going to put them in a better position ultimately. And there's no reason to think that's not going to keep going. I mean, we mentioned Kate Harpering off the top of this thing. Good grief, picking Carolina over anybody she wanted to, basically. And she's not the only one in this class. Things are going to keep going. really excited for Coach Banghart and all these ladies and the coaching staff and everyone else. So there you go. 10 through 7 of our Tar Heel countdown. Join us tomorrow. We'll hit 6 to 4, including another national championship team. It's going to be great stuff. Make sure you do not miss out on it. And then again, 3 to 1 and honorable mentions on Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me to kick off the top 10 most impactful moments for North Carolina athletics from the 24-25 year. If you've not subscribed to the show on audio and video, do it right now. It's so easy. If you're watching on YouTube, just hit that subscribe button right down there in the bottom corner. If you're listening, just find it and follow it on your favorite audio podcast platform. If you're not locked into the Locked On Tar Heels Discord, we would absolutely love to have you there. Carolina Athletics kicks off later this week. The first regular season women's soccer game is Thursday. It's go time, baby, and you don't want to miss out, so come join us. If you want to go deeper with the show, one-on-one connections with me, free access to all of my stats and charts and data, other perks as well, come join us in the Locked On Tar Heels Insider program. That link's in the show notes as well. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. It's great to reminisce about these things. We'll talk again tomorrow to carry on the countdown, but until then, peace.